Hello boys, welcome back to another interesting session of video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 12th biology students, and this is meant for 16th September 2020. And you know the importance of 16th September, that's the birthday of our school. So happy birthday to Sainik School Bijapur. And I'm sure all of you at your own, staying at your own homes or houses, will be thinking of our school, and it's a glorious school, and we wish a very happy birthday to our own school. With that in our mind, we move on to next important topic in our biotechnology chapter, that is called ethical issues. Whenever we are doing something, we always think of certain core values. What I am doing, is it for the betterment of humanity? That will be the utmost. Will it be beneficial to somebody, or will it harm to somebody? So always we keep this in our mind and do. That is what we call core values one should have. So in biotechnology also, whenever we are doing certain researches, the scientists and the biotechnologists always need to remember whether their research work will damage any species or any animal, any plant. Will it disturb the biodiversity? Will it not allow the peace that exists in our society? All these things need to be taken care. So all these core values come under ethical issue. So what are those? So manipulation of living organisms by the human race requires certain regulations. There has to be some rules and regulations. Ethical standards are required to evaluate the morality of all human activities that might help or harm living organisms. Genetic modifications of organisms, we were talking of GMOs. We talked about transgenic plants and transgenic animals, and in most of the experiments we have come to a conclusion that it would be lot many animals that were involved as the experimental species, be it mouse, be it say sheep, be it cattle, and some of the important plants, of course bacteria, viruses, fungi, all these we are using. And at the end of the day, if we question what for we are using all this, it is for our own benefit. So are we, being human beings, not becoming selfish at the cost of other animals? That is the question. So GMOs always are for our own benefit. Have unpredictable results when such organisms are introduced into the ecosystem. I have been telling in the very beginning of this chapter that there is unknown danger always. And whenever we are dealing with a known danger, of course we can take some precautions, but with unknown danger, we need to be extra careful. So as part of it, Indian government has set up organizations such as GEAC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, which will make decisions regarding the validity of GM research and the safety of introducing GMOs for public service. So this is highest ethic committee which has to give permission. And the modification, usage of living organisms for public services as food or medicine source, for example, has also created problems with patency. So we need to be careful with that. And the use of genetic materials, plants, biological resources by companies granted with the patency has triggered public anger, since they have been identified, developed and used by farmers and people of a specific country. Like I remember when the whole India was up against the US, when basmati rice was given patency to an American company. All of us know that India is known for its rice, and we have varieties of, I remember somewhere 2 lakh varieties of species of rice varieties are there. And Punjab is known for producing basmati rice since ages, but then the patency rights have been given to another American company. So there was hue and cry. Finally, Government of India has to approach at international level, and then the patency organization finally recognized the the culture and heritage of India with basmati rice, and we fought legally and got back our patency. But then all this has costed us, has costed our time, has costed our peace of mind. Hence, there will be a lot of problems with that. Like a patent is the right granted by a government to an inventor to prevent others from commercial use of his invention or her invention. When patents are granted for biological entities and for products derived from them, these patents are called biopatents. Patents have been taken out on plants such as black pepper, Piper nigrum, basmati rice, Oryza sativa, Indian mustard, Brassica campestris, pomegranate, our own Bijapur seedless, Punica granatum, and turmeric, neem, etc. So some organizations and multinational companies exploit and patent biological resources or bioresources of other nations like our nation without proper authorization from countries concerned. This is called biopiracy. So that is what happening. And as I said just now, the patents rights granted by USA covers the entire basmati rice germplasm indigenous to our own country. So there has to be some moral rights. As I said, over 2 lakh varieties of rice found in India, which makes India rich. Basmati rice, one type of rice with unique aroma and flavor, and there are 27 documented varieties of basmati are grown in India. In 1997, an American company got patency rights on basmati rice through US Patent and Trademark Office. This will allow the company to sell a new variety of basmati in the US and abroad. This new variety of basmati had actually been derived by crossing with semi-dwarf varieties and claimed as an invention or a novelty. Actually, already these semi-dwarf varieties are existing with us. The patent extends to functional equivalents, implying that other people selling basmati rice could be restricted by the patent. So even India, having all the varieties of basmati, cannot sell basmati rice in other countries because patency is granted. So that's how there was a big fight. That is how rice is life, no cooperation. You can see here our own basmati rice with the change in some letters like Taxmati and Kasmati, whatever. And this is how they try to go immoral with our rights. So several attempts have been made to patent uses, products and processes based on Indian traditional herbal medicine, our own turmeric. Even some companies claimed that turmeric, which is ancient one in India and which is being used in all Ayurveda and every day we are using in our kitchens, and they claimed it. Again, luckily Government of India fought and got the rights back. So we need to be vigilant. We need to be vigilant and counter these patent applications, else other countries, individuals may encash on our rich legacy and we may not be able to do anything about that. That's why there need to be some ethics, and that bioethics should be there. And what is that bioethics? Some organizations, like how they are involving in piracy, like you must have seen whenever during some years back, we were seeing movies in the form of compact discs, CDs. So before the actual release of movie, it was coming in the form of CDs. We used to say piracy. Now there it is movie piracy. Here it is biopiracy. So what is that biopiracy? Some organizations and multinational companies exploit patent biological resources and bioresources of other nations without proper authorization from the countries concerned. Like in our case, basmati rice, neem tree, turmeric, all these, they belong to us since ages. But then US claimed that. So this is called biopiracy. For example, a patent granted in USA covers the entire basmati rice germplasm indigenous to our country. So that is why one must be careful with biopiracy. So what is that? The patenting of plants, genes and other biological products that are indigenous to another country. So biopiracy is the use of bioresources by multinational companies and other organizations without proper authorization from the countries and people concerned, without compensatory payment. This is biopiracy. So developed countries patent the knowledge and resources of underdeveloped countries and enjoy immense profits. So it's a big brother, we say big brother deal or heavy handedness. Industrialized nations are rich financially but very poor in biodiversity. That all of us know it, being biology students. And traditional knowledge, of course, almost zero. In contrast, the developing countries and underdeveloped countries are very rich in biodiversity and traditional knowledge related to bioresources. We may not be industrially advanced, but then we are very good with reference to biodiversity and traditional knowledge. So traditional knowledge related to bioresources, like you take our own Ayurveda, we are able to cure many diseases through Ayurveda, can be exploited to develop modern applications and can also be used to save time, effort and expenditure during their commercialization. Hence we need to be careful about biopiracy. And when such things happen, of course, this is what happens. Naturally, people revolt against such biopiracies. So there were hartals and all that. People were up against. So realization of the injustice, inadequate compensation and benefit sharing between developed and developing countries led some nations to develop laws to prevent such unauthorized exploitation of bioresources and traditional knowledge. That's why what we said, GEAC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, has come. The Indian Parliament has cleared the second amendment of the Indian Patents Bill. This is most important, that takes such issues into consideration, including patent terms, emergency provisions and research and development initiative. So here what we require is, there has to be some, as I said, the values and ethics. So what are the bioethics that we should keep in our mind? So bioethics includes rules of conduct that may be used to regulate our activities in relation to the biological world. The main biological concerns pertaining to biotechnology are briefly in this way. 1. Introduction of transgene from one species into another species violates integrity of species, that we need to accept. Biotechnology may pose unforeseen risks or dangers to the environment, including risk to biodiversity. Transfer of human genes into animals and vice versa, like plasmid, remember PBR 322, dilutes the concept of humanness. There's something foreign material inside us. When animals are used for production of pharmaceutical proteins, they are virtually reduced to the status of a factory. So animals are becoming protein factories. Use of animals in biotechnology causes great suffering to them, and it is disrespectful to living beings and only exploits them for the benefit of human beings. A scientist cannot rule out the possibility of other biological damages. That is what I said, unforeseen danger. It can accidentally create new infectious agents. Like even in COVID-19, people were telling that it is a created one, and two viruses were mixed with that and COVID-19 is created. So there may be some unknown infections, unseen infections, and an artificial creatures may be created in this world through biotechnology that will harm the very existence of human life. Look at the sufferings that we have been undergoing for the last 12 months. So life is not normal. It has become abnormal for us because of the COVID-19. So all these are unforeseen dangers that one has to come across, and that is why we need to maintain bioethics. So without any bioethics, it will be difficult to practice what we biologists say, live and let live. So if that doesn't take place, then it is damage to everything. And finally, still worst is another one which is being used in biotechnology, that is most dangerous one. And of course, whatever I said, bioethics, no ethics at all in this. That's bio war. We have been hearing whenever we talk of war, we say war with fire and smoke. But this one, a war without fire, no fire, you don't see any fire, and no smoke. And there is a saying, without smoke, no fire. But here, the practicality is no smoke, no fire, but war is there, war is on, and that's biowar. So it is the use of highly infectious pathogens, their spores, and toxic materials as agents of biological weapons against humans, against the crops, against the animals of enemy country. The agent may be a virus, a bacteria, or a fungus, is kept in a special container that keeps it in an active or virulent state during delivery by missiles or aircrafts. Spray and powder are two common forms in which the bioweapon agent is delivered. The potential pathogens for bioweapons that are already identified are Bacillus anthracis, Vibrio cholerae, smallpox virus, and Pastorella pestis, Pastorella Yersinia pestis, and of course the most dangerous one, botulinum toxin. So bioweapons are almost invisible, low-cost weapons which can cause high destruction, highest number of casualties than a conventional or chemical weapons. Possible defense against them is gas mask, respirator, protective shelter, vaccination, antibiotics, decontamination, and sensitive detection systems. But of course, all these are need to be developed. We need to develop some of them. So if we have got the bioethics, I'm sure we will not have bio war, and the entire humanity will be